There's this latest trend right now called Analog 2026. And I got to speak on it. It's kind of upsetting because Gen Zers and others are now trying to reestablish the glory days of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Now, I totally understand nostalgia is just what it is. Everyone loves a piece of nostalgia. All of you guys born in the latter 90s and early 2000s want a taste of the decades prior. So you guys are buying vinyl records and trying to get analog cell phones and trying to buy CDs and DVDs. I understand it greatly, but I've been screaming about this forever. Don't hop on the bandwagon now. Please don't. Because I'm a Gen Wire. I don't consider myself a millennial. For some reason, they switched the stupid labels. But those who were born between 81 and 95 at some point were considered Generation Y. And then they tried to tag us with the millennial title. We're just the older millennial. And then there's the younger millennials, those born in the mid-90s. You know, whatever. I still consider myself a Gen Wire, and I never went away from buying DVDs. In fact, I bought DVDs up until maybe 2017 until someone made a joke about it. Like, yo, you still buy DVDs? And I actually felt bad. Like, whoa, let me try to get with the times now. Because everybody, obviously, at this point is streaming and doing things of that nature. But I was buying DVDs left and right. Why? Because they were cheap. And I was trying to relive the glory days. There's a lot of movies I missed out on in my childhood, in my teen years, in my early 20s. And DVDs were selling for $7, $8. Blockbuster movies at that. So, you know, Blu-ray disc was still doing its thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just stack up. And then all of a sudden, places like Best Buy and others just stopped selling DVDs in unison. And I was mad about that. So you can only find them online. You know, I still have an iPod. You know, I still have VHS tapes. I never wanted to go away from these things because they were part of my childhood. But back to the point, everybody who's young now wants to be like us. You guys want to wear baggy pants. You guys want to relive the glory days. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. It's not your fault. It's the powers that be fault because they tried to force technology on us that we didn't need. Yeah, we needed some things here and there. We know that. We couldn't live in the 80s and 90s forever. So certain technological advances were necessary. But did we really need to move on from DVDs? Did we? Because think about it now. Look at Hollywood. Look at the film industry. You know, they were making money hand over fist when DVDs were out. You're scanning barcodes. You know, movies come out and then within a few weeks, they're already available through streaming services. So I'm wondering how the industry can survive at this rate. Because not everybody watches these movies legally. You know, there's a lot of bootleg versions out here. So it's just weird that now everybody wants flip phones and want to go back to sidekicks and two-way pagers. And really, are you sure you're ready for this? Are you sure you're ready to take Polaroid film? Are you? Are you ready to take pics and have to wait for a few minutes and then put them in a photo album? Because the digital life now has made all of us private. You have to filter your photos if you're one of those types of people who, you know, takes provocative pics or screenshots certain images not intended for your eyes to see. So if you're showing your friends and family your photo gallery, you're kind of tilting your phone a little bit just in case they catch anything, you know, risque. We didn't have to worry about that back in the day. You know why? Because there was a such thing called decency, embarrassment. We didn't want to go into a shop and bring our film and have it developed and have someone else know about our promiscuity at all. The only time you took provocative photos is if you had a Polaroid camera at home, took the pic, shook it, and hid it in a diary or a journal or something of that nature. But are you guys, and I'm talking to the Gen Zers, are you truly ready to take pics with a camera and walk around with an analog phone and be okay with that? Because you've had about 15 to 20 years of Androids and iPhones. Are you guys really that tired of the technology? I think there is a burnout. I really do. I felt it a long time ago, but I just felt like I was on an island by myself. Because again, I still have CDs in my car. Now, I listen to Spotify and Apple Music like everyone else, but sometimes you get better sound and quality on this CD. I was taught this a long time ago. So in my car, I have some classics sitting in the console. Why? Because I don't want my phone around all the time. The phone was intended to communicate, and that was it. It just wasn't intended to do all these things. Am I glad we can now? Sure I am. But there should have been some limits, and it's just a free-for-all now. So Analog 2026 is a thing. It seems to be growing. It seems like everyone's just tired. They're burned out from technology, and they want to go back to the glory days. And I say amen. But will you guys have fits when they remove all these things from the market? Because at some point they will. At some point, old is going to be new again. And it's going to be rampant. And we're going to get rid of smartphones. I don't think smartphones are going to be here forever. It'll be some greater technology that's probably worse. But I agree. I'm glad you guys are fed up and burned out with this technology. I'm welcome to the club. Let me roll out the red carpet for you all. But honestly, where do you stand on this? Are you willing to go back to the glory days? If you're a music buff, are you going back to vinyl and CDs? If you're a TV and film person, are you going back to DVDs and possibly VHS? Don't laugh. Don't be surprised if they remodel the old school VCR. And I'm not talking about DVRs. I'm talking about VCRs where we have physical copies, aka VHS tapes. I will not be surprised because you can't have physical copies using the DVR. No one's saying we've got to go back to the Stone Age, but are you truly cool with going back in time? Again, Analog 2026 means removing all of your digital devices in favor of analog. Can you really do it? Are you really up for the challenge?